140 days, supporting the war against Iran. Julie Walker reports the House Minority Leader has big plans for the Supreme Court if Democrats can win back the House.
The idea of overhauling the Supreme Court is something Hakeem Jeffries is eyeing.
In my view, dramatic Supreme Court reform is necessary.
He was speaking Thursday at the National Association of Black Journalists Convention in Atlanta.
The conservative right-wing majority on the Supreme Court has become, basically a subsidiary of the MAGA Republican Party.
Jeffries says several options are on the table. He also says Democrats still want to pass the Voting Rights Act and that the party would overhaul congressional procedures to do that. In Atlanta, I'm Julie Walker.
And Alabama's put a man to death for the murder of a 5-year-old girl, the last of 3 executions today. The others were in Tennessee and Oklahoma. This is AP News. Finally coming to theaters.
The abrupt termination of Coyote versus Acme sent shockwaves through Hollywood. Everyone in the movie business was accustomed to sudden painful twists of fate, but the wholesale elimination of a finished film faster than you can say was something new. In the film, Coyote, after suffering years of defective products, takes Acme to court.
It's not your fault. There's probably someone to blame.
After an outcry, Warner Brothers put Coyote versus Acme up for sale, and Ketchup Entertainment bought it for about $50 million. Now, nearly 3 years later, the live-action animated hybrid Coyote versus Acme will finally see the light of day on August 28th.
So, what is up, Doc?
I'm Lisa Dwyer.
More stories at apnews.com. I'm Ben Thomas. Thanks for listening.
Need a truck that works as hard as you do? Then head to Triple J Ford's Big Deals on Big Wheels sales event. For a limited time, score prices below dealer cost and drive home America's best-selling truck for 49 years. The legendary Ford F-150 starting at just $39,995. Choose from the rugged XL, stylish STX, or well-equipped XLT. All backed by the strength, capability, and innovation only Ford delivers. But don't wait. All stock must go. Visit Triple J Ford in Upper Tumont or get pre-approved and shop online at triplejguam.com. Triple J Ford, customers first.
Eat fresh in just a few clicks. Order online at SubwayPacific.com for pickup or delivery. Online ordering at SubwayPacific.com is powered by Good to Go. We deliver. At Subway, you gotta refresh to be fresh.
Got friends who still haven't switched to GTA? Now's the time to give them a nudge, because you can get up to $150 just for sending them our way. Refer a friend who signs up for a single service like wireless or internet, and you'll score $100. And if they go for a choice bundle, that's a cool $150 in your pocket. It's simple, it's sweet, and it pays to share. Visit GTA.net to start referring today. GTA, we start with you. Terms and conditions apply. Visit GTA.net for more information.
Half a day, I'm Callan Perez and I'm running for senator. Service to our island has shaped my life, from community advocacy and substance abuse recovery to supporting sustainable agriculture. Inspired by my parents, Dr. Perez and Dr. Erickson, I remain committed to serving the people of Guam. I'm Callan Perez and I approve this message.
The countdown has begun. Cost You Less is preparing something special for Hagåtña, and you won't want to miss it. Family fun, live entertainment, community celebrations, and more are on the way. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram for details.
The big summer getaway is still raging at Hagåtña Shopping Center. Every $10 purchase is your ticket to massive prizes. You could win a 75-inch TV, a $100 gas card, a 2-night stay at PIC, and more. Plus, you could win up to $1,000 in United Airlines vouchers to fly anywhere United flies. Keep dropping those raffle coupons in the drop boxes and don't miss the grand drawing on August 15th. Shop and win before time runs out at Hagåtña Shopping Center. Must be present to win. See posters for details.
Half a day. I'm Clint Rigel, and I'm running for senator. If you're looking for proven, effective leadership, vote for me, and let's grow Guam together. I'm Clint Rigel, and I approve this message.
Half a day, Guam. The Guam Hotel and Restaurant Association invites you to the Fair Trade Show, Guam's premier hospitality and food service event. Join us August 19th and 20th at the Hyatt Regency Guam from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Experience hands-on training sessions and exciting culinary competitions featuring professionals, apprentices, and pastry talent. Discover new products, connect with suppliers, and celebrate Guam's hospitality industry. Don't miss Fair 2026. Visit GHRA.org for details.
Everyone has savings goals. Whatever you're saving for, Bank of Hawaii wants to help you reach your possible. That's why with our Bank Ohana 12-month CD special, you can earn 3.4% annual percentage yield with a minimum deposit of $5,000 from another bank. Requires a Bank Ohana checking account with an opening deposit of $500. So reach your savings goals with our 12-month CD special.
Anything's possible.
Reach your possible with Bank of Hawaii. For terms and conditions, go to boh.com/CD special.
Hat Tinting and Detailing offers premier services from complete interior cleaning and VIP detailing. And to keep you cool, Hats also offers factory, ceramic, blacked out, and base-approved auto tinting. For more information, call 647-SLAM.
Here for the community. Wave 105 FM.
Hey.
2:07 in the afternoon, off a day, and welcome. This is Wave 105. Right now, you got it locked on to the Guam Behavioral and Wellness Hour. He's going to start it off, Mr. Pauly Suba. Buenas.
Off a day. Thank you so much for joining us here for the Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center Hour. We do want to thank our sponsors. And that's Chili's Grill and Bar. At Chili's, more life, great food, and memories happen here. Micro Pack for sound, tech, and everything in between. Think Micro Pack. Subway, you got to refresh to be fresh. Triple J. It's big deals on big wheels at Triple J Ford. Save thousands off retail and drive home a new Ford F-150 starting at just $39,995. Visit Triple J Ford today. Customers first, and GTA, we start with you. And so we'll start with introductions, if that's okay, and we'll start with our friend from the Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center, Rowena Murata.
That's correct.
There
Hi,
go.
good
Hi.
afternoon, Guam. My name is Rowena Murata, and I work at Guam Behavioral Health Children's Division, and I work as a key family partner coordinator, and our component is supporting the families whose child may be receiving or to be receiving services with Children's Division.
Okay. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Ernesto Relegado?
Yes, so it's Ernesto Regalado. So I'm a social worker with the Guam Department of Education. I'm in the Student Support Services Division. There is a specific program within that called Enhancing Your Mental Health State. So I am one of the social workers representing that program and my division in overall.
And Dr. Tony Cruz.
Hafade. Buenas and Hafade. Thank you for having me and my colleagues and my other colleagues here. My name is, again, Tony Cruz. I work with the Guam Behavioral. I used to work with Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center. Now I work with the Guam Department of Education. Yes. I am a school psychologist, and I work with Ernesto under the Student Support Services. Within the Student Support Services, I work with a program called School-Based Behavioral Health,
right,
where we provide individual counseling, assessment to our students within the GDOE system.
Okay, and so this is officially the first week of the new school year. And with that comes a number of challenges, right? I mean, we're usually the lead up to the first week of a new school year has its own challenges. It has its own stresses, right? And some of us, I remember, I'm trying to put myself back there, that there's a lot of anxiety. You know, it's like, oh, I didn't get to do all the things that I really wanted to do. I wanted to hang out at the beach even more. I didn't get to sleep at my friend's house and all of those things. And you're trying to rush that last week before the new school year to do some things that, and also get all the school supplies and everything. And sometimes we don't even get all of those school supplies until this week, right? And so what kind of support do you provide to the parents, right, and to the families, like you were sharing, when they come to you with these kinds of anxieties or challenges?
Okay, so on behalf of Guam Behavioral Children's Division, we have a program called The Bridge. And what The Bridge is, it links up with the families whose child is enrolled receiving services at a Children's Division. And so while the child is being serviced by the social worker or the counselor, we work with the parents. So we support the parents in other areas aside from what's been going on with the child, because sometimes just that in itself can be totally consuming on the parent.
Right.
And so we work with the parents one-to-one, and then we address what their needs are as far as the upcoming school year. And many times at the parents that we work with, there's a lot of struggles now that the school year is here, the new school year. And many times it could be the uniforms, emotional, because many of them, they express the challenges from the last school year. And so now it's just a continuation, or they're hoping that it's not a continuation of the last school year. So it can array from different areas for the parent.
And Ernesto, when you're in your line of work too, right? You provide support in so many other ways as well, right? And also working with your colleagues.
Yes, that's correct. And so DOE and Guam Behavioral, there's always the open door to collaborate and have like wraparound services for sure. In my recent experience right now, talking about how the kids are coming back from a summer into their first week of school for a lot of them. My role here so far, and it's very fresh, I was actually just doing this today before this show, but I'm communicating with parents. And it's like over the summertime, sometimes the parent and the family, they're off to, Korea or Japan, they're having the time of their lives. And so it's like I would not see them or communicate them with as much. But now that it's the first week back, I'm calling, I'm emailing, sometimes if allowed, I'm WhatsApping to like kind of coordinate and make sure everyone's on the same page. So that's kind of how I talk with the adults, the parents right now so far, especially in this first week, because, everything is, feeling a little chaotic on their side. Now they got to drop their kids off and make it to work, and just the schedule, the routine is, once again, busy. Not like the summer where it was a little more easy, maybe. Maybe. We did have 2 typhoons, but aside from that, it was relatively easier. And so, that's kind of my component, my role here so far with the parent is, at least today, it's mainly just telling the parent, hey, so let's confirm I'm going to see your student, your child at this time, da-da-da-da-da. Please also communicate to your own child. And so it's a lot of like, I'm trying to talk to the student through the parent, and then kind of like, it's a game of telephone, literally, it's a game of telephone, so.
When does that ever ease up for you?
It can ease up
like
once
a
the
normal
routine.
schedule, yeah.
Yeah, once routine is reestablished, and that's why the first week can be so chaotic, because it's the readjustment to a routine. And sometimes things get thrown out up in the air, and so you're kind of navigating that and trying to stay graceful and retain your composure and keep your center through the whole thing. And so. And just since I was saying it today when I met with one of my clients, we were kind of talking about that, about, the sort of readjustment to everything. And I come from a like yoga and mindfulness-based stress reduction experience background, so I usually incorporate that into, my check-ins with my students. I give us always a few minutes at least to just kind of breathe and kind of find our center, analyze our bodies, just check in how you're feeling. To build what's called proprioception in the student, to have them be aware of their own body. When you're so addicted to stimulation outside of you, you sometimes forget how you feel inside. So it's a skill that, we work on. Yeah.
I just feel relaxed just listening to you.
I really do.
Wow.
So much.
Dr. Tony, also leading up to a new school year, there's like professional development training, right? And so do you provide training to the teachers as well as they prepare for a new school year?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. the school psychologists as well as the social workers within our division. We had provided training. For example, we provided training on trauma, trauma-informed care to one of the schools. I believe it was, I think it was in some Ordet.
Yes, it was in Ordet.
Was it a
San
public
Miguel,
school?
JQ San Miguel,
Oh,
correct?
JQ,
Yes.
Yes. So it was very interesting. Teachers were present, the administrator was present, and so we provided support to teachers, teaching them about trauma and how trauma may affect students within the classroom. I agree that this whole transition from summer to the new school year is anxiety provoking, and it's actually a normal response for not just students but for teachers, staff, and parents. The one way that we also support them, other than training, is by meet and greet. School psychologist, myself, and other employees at GDOE, we go to the schools and we just develop rapport with our students and teachers and the parents. Welcome back to school. We greet them just to give them a sense of ease coming back to the first day of school.
Do you also provide the training to help teachers find a skill set or the ability to make students all feel included? The backgrounds are diverse, right? There are so many different backgrounds with students in the public school system, right? Different even not just ethnicity, but foster children, people, children that come from broken families and whatnot. And sometimes I was talking to a teacher, and she does her very best to not talk about vacations off island or ask students, where did you go? Because there are some students in the classroom that have never left the island. They don't have those same kind of opportunities. Does that help with the whole process?
Well, for me, I think that it will help if teachers will be asking questions with their students, because I think if they ask open-ended questions, for example, and get to know them, that will put our students at ease. We do provide consultations to teachers, school counselors, and the school team in regards to any behavioral health challenges. Also to address any behavioral challenges within the classroom. I'm aware that teachers, they have good classroom management. They took courses at the universities, but there's just some times where it's difficult for teachers. Therefore, we do provide consultations on trainings too.
And I think, in these lines of work, as far as, your education and experience or credentials has led you, it's always good to constantly maintain your, refresh your competencies with always. So constant training is always, I think, a really great, opportunity for anyone to get. And so we do like to offer that up to the teachers, school administrators, any personnel who kind of interfaces with the students, especially. We try to make it in equal access, I suppose. So GOE, they're very good at always sort of organizing training dates or like even training seasons sometimes. Usually it'll vary, of course, on the school's own schedule. But we're always happy to do that. And like Dr. Tony said, consultations, that's sort of like if a teacher's just struggling, or a counselor even, or a school admin, they can call our line and it's like, we'll answer and we will help in that way. So it's kind of like a quick, assistance. Yes.
Well, may I add, in support for the parents, for the services that we provide within the Bridge program for children's is the parent gets one family partner that meets with them once a week for a period of 10 weeks or as needed more. And so we walk with them through their journey as summer went through, now that it's school. So we're going to continue going on with that journey with them, whatever comes their way, they're not going through it alone. So they also are able to call their family partners for additional support. And aside from that, we go to them if they can't come to us.
Sure.
So we do a lot of home visits, see a lot of plants, see a lot of dogs,
Chickens.
a lot of chickens. No, but it's lovely. It's really lovely because then we get a better understanding of where they're at and how we can be flexible and change our approach that's according to their needs of where they're at. So like, for example, the school, many times the parents are very hesitant because of what happened the last school year. So then we're like, we want to make sure that you're prepared. So why don't we talk about the areas that you're concerned, and then we can call a meeting and then we can address it to the new teachers. Or a suggestion is, if there's a uniqueness about the child, we can put together a small portfolio in regards to what Johnny's all about. I actually did that with my son because he came from a divorced family. And so I had to provide a portfolio and say, hey, this is what he's all about. On these days, he's here, and on those days. And each teacher got that. So that's being proactive, because the teacher can't remember everything because there's so many kids. But at the same note, you're giving something that can stand out for your
Right.
child. So it's advocating for your child as well as the parent.
Right.
And so they have a voice, but many times they're afraid to use the voice because maybe from experience they get shot down or they don't know how to say it. And so we are their wind beneath their wings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Just to add, yeah, that's fantastic. Guam, at Guam Department of Education, we also do family therapy. We do home visits in order to help our families, because when working with a student, we also work with the families. And so when we go out there as a home visit, or we see the families within the school on campus, we help the whole unit, because in order to help a student, we help the family.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it works hand in
The
hand.
home visits are amazing because you build rapport, trust, and you get familiar with what they're all about, and their culture. And then next time you meet with them, you can pick up where you left off with the conversation and not feel uncomfortable or whatever, and most of all, having them trust us.
Right. At what level do any of you address truancy?
We address truancy when working with our students. Now, truancy is unfortunately, it's common within our GDU system. And so what we do is that we work with the school. We work with the school attendance officer. We meet with the parents. We meet with the school team. We try to find out what's going on with the students. What is the underlying challenges that's having the student not come to school.
Right.
And most of the time, it may be a behavioral health challenge, or it could be a case management challenge, such as no transportation or no power, no water. So we do work with our school team in addressing attendance.
And sometimes at your level, you can solve a lot of those issues, right? And then you'll see their attendance increase, because sometimes it could be bullying, it could be a number of things, right?
A lot of the time, I also notice the student will sort of report for themselves that it's like general school avoidance, a phobia almost, like they're kind of scared to go to school, nervous. You know how when a student is nervous to present in front of class, it's like feeling like that, but about your own school. And so I've noticed in my own sort of history with my clients, that's been a common sort of theme. And so, when we have our wraparound meetings and we involve the entire system of support that is involved in that, whether that is Guam Behavioral, sometimes psychologists from Guam Behavioral, sometimes our own psychologists, any of these agencies that are here to help the students, we'll have a meeting maybe, and then we'll set a plan and some goals, and we'll just kind of monitor that. We'll make these goals actionable and measurable and easy enough to accomplish that the student can do it. We're not asking you to come every single day of the week, but how about 3 days out of the 5? We'll start there, or 2 out of 5 if it's really bad. And so you see how the progression can change. And I'm very happy that some of the kids that I've had that were truant, they're back to school. Well, I mean, you know, sometimes they downslide, but I have a lot of success stories
Sure.
in that way. Yeah.
Yay.
So I think that's the approach we take is it's all like very wraparound.
Well,
Yeah.
for the parents, as far as truancy is concerned, one of the struggles that they encounter with their child is the medication side effects. Many times the medication would make them sleep heavy, and by the time it kicks in, maybe like 11, it's time to wake up like 4 in the morning. So that's very hard for the parent to help the child wake up and get ready. So one of the challenges at the homestead for truancy could be the side effects of the medication that the child is on. And so when they express what's going on, then we would break down, okay, how does it look like when he comes home from school? Then we actually put together a visual time slot that the parent can look, and maybe we can look at the time schedule and alter it. Maybe we can give earlier on the medication and try and have him not have too much stimulation before bedtime. And so it's a challenge, but at the same note, it can be done. It
Right.
can be done. And so I think the reinforcement of the bridge with the one-to-one, the parents not going alone because they're like, he's not doing it. That's okay. Remember, let's go back again. It's parent coaching, not to tell them that their parenting style is not working. It's just not effective right now for this kind of situation.
Sure. Dr. Tony, you were going to add?
Yes. I do remember the Mr. Ernesto had mentioned something about the systems of support, and so it reminded me of this phrase before. It takes a village to raise a child, right, or a person. And so at Guam Department of Education, we implemented a system. It's called System of Support, in which a multidisciplinary team of school psychologists, school nurse, school counselor, administrators, we get together and we make attempts to help students who are going through like attendance challenges or behavioral health challenges. And so we also have a school nurse within our team that may address medication as perhaps a barrier that will maybe prevent students from coming to school. And so that's an approach, a system that we are that we have in place for this school year.
Right.
So.
And what about? It's just because I'm not at the level of understanding, so I apologize if it comes off as ignorance, because it probably is ignorance. Sometimes there are children that are not diagnosed, right? And so how do we approach a parent, I guess, when teachers are saying this child needs to see a clinician, but the parent is not quite there yet?
Okay. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Ms. Rowe. Yeah.
Well, is this at the school level or on
It could
the
be like
community level?
no, at the school level.
Okay, so I'm
maybe
gonna throw that to you guys.
A teacher,
Good
teacher is noticing
Yeah.
some things and has probably even had the conversation with the parent, right? But yet the parent is not willing to continue that conversation.
Sure, I could speak to my program first. So I'm in a program called Enhancing Your Mental Health State. It was it came around 2023. It was based on the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act during the last administration. And so we're kind of doing work based on those requirements and needs. But anyways, what we have been soft launching, I like to say, is a screening program. And so we're trying to aim for a universal screening process as much as we can, where we would like to offer up screening sessions to any student within a certain grade to avail. So whether or not we found out a student is struggling or not, we kind of just offer it to everyone 100% if possible. And then, the consents come back to us, and that will let us be able to implement a screening. Now, when I do a screening, we usually look for a few key things like anxiety, ACEs, that's adverse childhood experiences, substance use, depression severity. So usually those core, symptom groups and categories. Now, when we do these screenings and they come back to us and me and the psychologist interpret it, and talk about it. When we relay the information back to the parent, we say, this is not a diagnosis. Just because it says signs of anxiety doesn't mean your student has generalized anxiety disorder or this, that, the other. We're not putting disorder onto the results of the screening. However, they help guide. If the parent wants to maybe get more detail, more assessment, they can do it with us. Or, of course, they can even go to external agencies like Guam Behavioral if the time, because sometimes it's easier to do that versus maybe at the school, right? But anyways, like I relay that to the parents basically that, what I've just done with our student, it's not a diagnosis. We're not going to put a label on you. We know how loaded being called crazy or kaduku is. So that's not the aim and that's not what we're doing. It's just this might be something you could think about and explore. And then that's where, maybe Guam Behavioral comes in or even Dr. Tony comes in.
Well, we get the calls from the parents. And the first initial conversation is, I have a referral and I don't know what to do with it. And so that's where the
referral came from the school?
Yeah. A lot of the parents would receive a referral from the school, from the teacher saying, Johnny has been, behaving da-da-da or has not been doing da-da-da. So anyways, in a period of time, they would get a referral, at least from my experience when I answered the phones. Then they ask us, what do we do next? And so I would tell them, okay, so you got a referral from the school. Then the hours of operation as far as when they can walk in and take their child for assessment and intake at Guam Behavioral Health. However, if it's an emergency crisis, then they can go there even after hours. So like, for example, suicide ideation, self-harm, things like that. They can go in after the traditional daily 8 to 5 hour, 8 to 5 Monday through Friday schedule. And so then we talk about what to expect. And so the first step would be just keeping it simple, just go in and take the assessment. And then after that, you would be guided to the next step. But to try and explain everything on a phone call, it can be too overwhelming for them. So I try and keep it simple and not too intimidating for them because they're just like, okay, what do I do with this?
That adds its own level of stress and anxiety for a family, right? And so I really appreciate that you have a whole team and you're coordinating amongst each other as far as specialists, right? Because this whole thing is about, being available to the whole family and ultimately a student in this conversation so that they can get the education that they deserve. Yeah.
Just to add in to Ernesto and my colleague is mentioning, within the Guam Department of Education, inclusive of enhancing your mental health, the school has a system called the Child Study Find, in which the school holds staffings and meetings with the team itself and with the parents in order to determine what is going on with the student, how is the student's behavior interfering with his academics, or if it's a social emotional challenge. And so we have a child study find, and so teachers may collaborate with school counselors may engage in family meetings to try to encourage parents to seek help in order to help the student. Maybe the parent does not want or is kind of hesitant about behavioral services. And so when this child study team elevates to our level, it's referred to the Student Support Services Division, where we take the referral and we try and work with the student and the family. So that's...
We're going to take a quick break, and then on the other side, we'll continue to have this conversation with our friends from Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center and Guam Department of Education. Again, this is the Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center Hour right here on Wave 105.
Stay sharp, stay curious, stay connected. Wave 105, the talk of Guam. Glimpses Media.
Introducing the all-new Subway Wraps. Now you can make any footlong a wrap. Light, delicious, and satisfying without weighing you down. Subway Wraps make fueling your day easier than ever with bold flavors and fresh ingredients. Try the cheesy garlic steak wrap today. Subway, eat fresh, feel good.
Got friends who still haven't switched to GTA? Now's the time to give them a nudge because you can get up to $150 just for sending them our way. Refer a friend who signs up for a single service like wireless or internet and you'll score $100. And if they go for a choice bundle, that's a cool $150 in your pocket. It's simple, it's sweet, and it pays to share. Visit GTA.net to start referring today. GTA, we start with you. Terms and conditions apply. Visit GTA.net for more information.
Need a truck that works as hard as you do? Then head to Triple J Ford's Big Deals on Big Wheels sales event. For a limited time, score prices below dealer cost and drive home America's best-selling truck for 49 years. The legendary Ford F-150 starting at just $39,995. Choose from the rugged XL, stylish STX, or well-equipped XLT. All backed by the strength, capability, and innovation only Ford delivers. But don't wait. All stock must go. Visit Triple J Ford in Upper Tumont or get pre-approved and shop online at triplejguam.com. Triple J Ford, customers first.
The countdown has begun. Cost You Less is preparing something special for Hagana, and you won't want to miss it. Family fun, live entertainment, community celebrations, and more are on the way. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram for details.
Half a day. I'm Clint Rigel, and I'm running for senator. If you're looking for proven, effective leadership, vote for me, and let's grow Guam together. I'm Clint Rigel, and I approve this message.
Everyone has savings goals. Whatever you're saving for, Bank of Hawaii wants to help you reach your possible. That's why with our Bank Ohana 12-month CD special, you can earn 3.4% annual percentage yield with a minimum deposit of $5,000 from another bank. Requires a Bank Ohana checking account with an opening deposit of $500. So reach your savings goals with our 12-month CD special.
Anything's possible.
Reach your possible with Bank of Hawaii. For terms and conditions, go to boh.com/CD special.
Half a day. I'm Callan Perez, and I'm running for senator. Service to our island has shaped my life, from community advocacy and substance abuse recovery to supporting sustainable agriculture. Inspired by my parents, Dr. Perez and Dr. Erickson, I remain committed to serving the people of Guam. I'm Callan Perez, and I approve this message.
Hats Tinting and Detailing offers premier services from complete interior cleaning and VIP detailing. And to keep you cool, Hats also offers factory, ceramic, blacked out, and based-approved auto tinting. For more information, call 647-SLAM.
Here for the community. Wave 105 FM.
Hey.
Welcome back to the show. Gonna send it back to Mr. Pauly Suba. Buenas.
All right. Once again, we are continuing the conversation, assisting families, most especially parents, adults, and teachers, faculty, school staff, students. We unpacked a lot of the anxiety and stress levels of the students last week, and so for this second half, I want to focus more on how we're assisting teachers and parents, right, to ultimately get the services that the children need. And so there are some things I was looking at what Kevin had sent us that we should be watching out for, some key indicators when it comes to burnout. And, you know, teachers, you know, thank goodness for a summer, right? But we should be looking out for things like physical exhaustion, emotional detachment or cynicism, heightened irritability, and decision fatigue. And so I know, Dr. Tony, you were saying that you provide some training throughout the year. And so how do you as specialists provide that kind of support to teachers that are experiencing some burnout?
Okay, good question. First of all, everyone experiences burnout.
Okay.
almost all disciplines who work with students or adults,
Right.
families, the community. We experience burnout. And for myself, I see teachers may burn out toward the end of the school year. Right now, they're feeling kind of stressed, maybe anxious, motivated, so that they could start their whole year out.
Right.
But I think toward the finish line of the ending of the school year is when they probably will get some burnout. And so sometimes we may teach some sort of a self-care to teachers, or even self-care to our in-service trainings. We teach them how to take care of themselves, how to, for example, do some mindfulness techniques, some breathing techniques, just talking about plans, about what they want to do after school or after the school year. So we do help teachers. We also help our colleagues with trainings of how to take care of ourselves when we're feeling burnout.
And then when you're thinking about taking care of ourselves, right? What are some of the things that you do for yourself? I mean, I imagine, like you said, we all experience burnout, you know?
Ice cream.
Ice cream?
Yes.
Yes.
Ice cream, guarantee. That's right.
Ice cream.
Well, I was going to say, so, before I say what I do for myself, there are times where I'm going to sound like a broken record. I feel like I'm the government-mandated hippie of the agency, but I offer yoga classes and mindfulness meditation classes to my colleagues for free, totally gratis. I try to just sweeten it up, maybe boost their mood on a Monday, the start of the week, after having the Sunday scaries and all that. But I like to have an open door policy on that. So, if any of my colleagues in DOE ever wants to email me and say, oh, would you like to do that with, my team at my school, X school, or wherever, I'm always open to that because I love to do it. It's something I love to do. And if you can do it for free, but maybe also get paid for it, then you've really found, your calling. But yes, I try to offer that to my colleagues, whoever you are. So if you're listening, just email me. You know my email. So there you go.
Can I email you too?
Miss Rowe, yes, of course you can email me.
All right, thank you. I'll bring ice cream.
Yeah, I actually got you. I got your email too. So we'll. But also for my own personal self-care, I think for me it's about having healthy boundaries. And so when I'm not working, I'm kind of not Ernesto. I'm me in my private life. When I'm not wearing nice clothes and shoes, I'm wearing Zori, And so I really separate my work life from my personal life. And I need to keep it that way so that in my personal life, I give myself the time to recharge so that when I get back to my work life at 8 a.m., I am the fullest Ernesto social worker hat that I can be. And so I think that's, for me, it's a healthy boundary for sure.
That's definitely going to help me because anytime I feel my phone vibrate or hear that not an alarm, but the alert,
ding.
Instantly I feel like I must look at this email.
It's like your heart skips, right?
Oh, compelled to do so.
Right. Yeah. And so Rowena, as well for yourself, but then also what about parents too?
For the parents, I highly suggest with them to understand the system of where their child's at. So for example, if their child is involved with special education, we break that down and how does it look like for the child and how does that look like for the parents' participation. So we have a book called Team Up With Your Child, and then for the older kids, which is 16 to 25, transitional age, that's a young adult roadmap. And so it's a parent guide that we go one-on-one and we go, okay, the new school year is up, here it is, let's look and review about the IEP process, for example. Then it really breaks it down to parents' understanding as far as step one, this is how it looks, how to advocate for your child. And then we do role play. We practice with the parent because the IEP is coming up. So we want to make sure that we practice ahead of time. So when they go to the IEP meeting, they got their own questions. And to also say, I really don't understand what are you saying, but can you please explain it again? Because it could be very intimidating considering, I experienced that myself once upon a time. But then to make them feel comfortable and that they're equal players, they have to also understand and learn the process as well. So they'll feel confident. So that's what we do as far as helping the parent with their anxieties. Many times it's anxiety because they're going back to school with their kids.
Right.
And so we give them tips. So, for example, there's so many people at the IEP meeting. I said, draw a little table, put circles, and then start putting who's who and what agencies. So you know who's the person and what they said. So that even small things like that. So empowering them can also greatly lessen their anxiety when it comes to their child and the school system, and maybe whatever situations they had in the past, they can empower themselves to make it better.
And also, the morning can be really chaotic, right?
Yes.
And so, I mean, I thought that was a great example of how you were providing information to teachers, right, about your child, right?
Yes, it's
and
important.
So do you have any information or tips to make the morning less chaotic?
Well, again, when we do our home visits, we ask, how does your typical morning look like? What time does it start? So we start putting it down on the flip chart. So it's visual for them. And they go, okay, from this time, you're still waking up? Yes. And then at this time, what's happening over here? And then what time do you leave the house?
Right.
And then what time do the kids come home? So we kind of get an idea of how the routine looks like.
Right.
And then we see what areas that we can try and make it less stressful in the
Right.
morning. So, for example, maybe breakfast is already ready the night before through sandwiches, and their stuff is already packed. So in the morning, all they have to do is put their clothes on. They got this and that, and then they're out the door, or put it in the car before the night ends. And so when they go, they just go straight into the car. Everything's there. So these are strategies that we give the parents. And other than that, if they're bus riders, that one's a tough because if they're on medication, it's hard for the child to wake up on time because it can make them feel groggy. So we try and strategize with the school and see if we can have accommodations in regards to
Right.
coming in tardy.
Right. There's somebody on the line? Oh, right. Holiday Way 105, you're on the air. Do you have a question for our guest?
Not a question per se, Pauly. How you doing?
What's up, Jesse?
I have more of a solution to defeating burnout.
Okay.
It's exercising, and I did mention there
Yes.
that I know you were talking about yoga, but I'm looking at more of just being away, doing things on your own, whether it's a walk, a jog, something that you can do on your own and not be necessarily surrounded by other people. But for me, the reason why I say exercise, Pauly, is because a lot of times when teachers get burned out, it's the mental state of that educator that usually gets burnt out. So a fit and healthy teacher makes a better teacher.
Yes, 100%, totally agree.
And that goes directly to students. A fit and healthy student makes them better learners.
Thanks, Jesse. I appreciate that, and thanks for also engaging with us here.
And please let Dr. Cruz know that this is Mr. Mateo.
Oh, Mr. Mateo. Oh, buddy, sir. Thank you very much. Mr. Mateo used to be my teacher in high school.
There you go.
So, thank you, Mr.
All
Mateo.
right.
Okay.
I just want to say I totally agree with Mr. Mateo. Exercise is a fantastic coping skill in order to deal with stress, burnout. Whenever we exercise, our those neurotransmitters starts to be at ease.
Yeah.
Right? Our brain works well better. And so for myself, I started exercising maybe a couple of months ago, and I feel a lot better actually.
Right.
So it really does help.
There's a saying that I really like, and it's that depression hates a moving target. So I feel like your feelings of sadness, grief, or any of those feelings that weigh you down, if you're sitting down and not, kind of ruminating about it, thinking about it, maybe in your house, they're just going to kind of fester there. But if you get your body moving, like I said, it hates a moving target. It cannot catch you. I know that's very simplified and watered down, but to me, it's always just been a very impactful quote. So that's, yeah.
I
just
think
wanted
that's
that.
wonderful. You know what? I'm going to change my wellness too. I'm going to go for walks while I eat an ice cream cone.
Oh,
There you go.
There
See,
you go.
balance
How's
too.
that?
There we go. And in balance, right?
Well, I just want to thank all three of you for being here. Is there anything that we want to share with our audience that I might have missed that's important to get out there? I do want to allow Rowena as well to share the 988 number when we close, but for the two of you, if that's okay?
I'd like to add, since it's a first week, and maybe it's going to be a second week as well, perfection, you don't have to be perfect for this first time around. We're all switching back into a new season, a new lunar cycle, and, those astrology believers, 8/8, the Lion's Gate just passed. But there's a lot of things, of course, going on in the world, a lot of chaos and whatnot. Try to ride the wave and give yourself grace. Forgive yourself when you can, and try to have a little fun. That's it.
well, for me, in particular for parents, my thought would be, because it's the first week of school, it's going to be new teachers, new school environment for some students. My thought would be meet with your child, your adolescent, and ask them, what's your goal for the new school year, and help them out in terms of identifying goals. Maybe it could be joining a sport, or it could be joining one club, or it could be improving that math grade from last school year. So my thought is parents or legal guardians, meet with your kids and follow up with those goals maybe a month later. Those goals are very important. It's going to change your child, your adolescent's life, at least for the school year.
And Rowena?
Okay. I'm sorry. What was the question again?
No worries. Well, we're just closing.
I was just.
No worries.
She was meditating.
I was just in awe with the
about
two.
the ice cream.
Oh yeah. Okay. Thank you for waking me up.
But I wanted to give you the opportunity to close if there's anything that we missed, and then obviously the importance of the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline that is available 24/7. Okay.
Well, there's so many things to cover when it comes to our mental wellness. However, if you don't have any idea where to start, just call our office 477-5338, and or if it's something like a crisis mode, 988. 988 is a 24/7 crisis hotline that you can call, and it could be anonymous, and then you can just say, hey, I'm getting burnt out, the ice cream melted, I just don't know what to do anymore. So either way, doing something is better than not doing anything in regards to your mental wellness. So again, 988. What's the number again?
988.
Oh,
good.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah, we'll never forget it. Thank you so much. Good luck to all the teachers, the entire staff, and parents, and most especially the students. And we wish you the very best with a new school year.
Yes.
Yes.
Good luck, Guam. Yes.
And I want to do a shout out.
Yes.
My coworker, Ovita Perez, bon voyage. You're going to be retiring out of our children's division, but one day, minus today, you'll be back.
I miss Ovi.
Ovita. Congratulations.
All right. So I know we're not quite there yet, but Ryan, that's what it means to be flexible, right? So we'll go ahead and hit the AP News, and we will be right back. Again, we want to thank our friends from Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center for always putting this show together every Friday at 2 p.m. And, of course, their partners, Guam Department of Education. And so they're an entire team for the whole island of Guam, and we really appreciate them. Okay, so we'll get the AP News on. Biba Betness.
Diva.
AP News, I'm Ben Thomas. The Pacific-based aircraft carrier USS George Washington's begun heading toward the Middle East amid